Andy guided the besieged Mike through surveillance cameras, helping him take down the armed men trying to break through the door. Mike, a smuggler, held the key piece of evidence, a list of corrupt officers involved in embezzlement. To protect him, Andy stayed in contact through surveillance and phone calls. The attackers outside were once Mike's own men, but since he'd fallen from power, he'd become a disposable pawn to the organization. These men had come specifically to silence him. Mike, both bitter and enraged. Andy then warned him that someone was sneaking up on the left side of the door. Mike quickly hid beside the entrance, took the guy out with a single shot, and slammed the door shut. Andy hung up and started contacting other departments for their help. The sheriff got on the phone. He was not on board with this and tentatively agreed. Shortly after, Mike called Andy back. He wanted to talk more seriously about a potential deal, pointing out that if he were to suddenly be killed, Andy's call to him could end up tarnishing Andy's professional record. Under pressure, Andy called David for advice. When David found out Andy had already contacted the sheriff, he immediately told him to call back and say it was all a misunderstanding. He warned Andy not to make any more reckless calls like that in the future, but by the time Andy tried to call the sheriff again, the sheriff informed him his people were already on site. Watching the surveillance feed, Andy saw the sheriff's team arrive, briefly greet two of the armed men standing guard, then promptly leave. The sheriff told him that those men were simply conducting a legal inspection of the house and that nothing was out of the ordinary. Relieved by the sheriff's explanation, Andy let his guard down until Mike called again. Andy told him he'd just gotten off the phone with the sheriff, but now Mike was adamant. He wanted Andy to patch him through to the sheriff directly. That's when it finally clicked for Andy. Mike's enemies had infiltrated the police department. In fact, the very people hunting Mike down had been sent by the sheriff himself.